Creve Coeur District 76 Board of Education meeting is now called to order. Roll call, please.
Giddens.
Here.
Cagle. Here. Catherine Reagan. Here. Val Reagan. Tyler. Here. Briner. Here. Bailey.
Here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mrs. Tyler.
It is the mission of Creve Coeur School District 76, in partnership with Home and Community, for all students to obtain the necessary knowledge, skills, and self-motivation to become lifelong learners, socially responsible citizens, and active participants in their ever-changing world. Vision. In keeping with the mission statement, Creve Coeur School District 76 will provide students with access to current curriculum and the tools necessary to enable them to become confident lifelong learners.
Thank you. Welcome to everyone in the audience. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to comment on the action items on the agenda? Hearing none, we will move on to action items. We need a motion regarding the first reading of board policies. Mr. Giddens?
I just got to ask questions. Valerie? Late? Did you wait for Valerie?
No, she'll be late. So
Did you move on?
she
She
had
had a lot of
questions.
notes. Yeah.
She did.
We move this later on the agenda.
If that's okay with the board, we'll get a consensus to move it. All right?
Okay.
All right. We'll move on to F4. We need a motion regarding the minutes, please.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for the regular meetings dated September 22nd, 2015, and October 13th, 2015.
Second.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Giddens.
Aye.
Cagle. Aye. Catherine Reagan. Aye. Tyler.
Aye.
Briner. Aye. Bailey.
Aye, motion carried. We need a motion regarding the payments list, please.
I'll make the motion to approve the payments list dated October 15th, 2015, and October 20th, 2015.
Second.
Questions? Comments? Kind of got one. Explain to us now that we've got the extra internet and we are still paying for the Civic Net rent-out, correct? And now we're paying for two different internets?
That is correct.
And that,
Stratus and,
not the other one, it was not your normal.
But the bill goes to ICC?
no, that was to finish out.
Okay,
That,
that was
Yeah,
to finish out.
That was to finish it out,
Okay.
yes. Yes,
maybe that's where I saw it, that it was the last payment or
Right.
something.
right.
Okay, so that's gonna be a monthly bill then, correct?
Yes,
And I realize we have to have it, it's just getting used to the new name.
sure. I have, I'll find that real quick.
So that's what the ICC one.
ICC was the Civic Net, and that's what we used for the internet, and so, and that's been over a period of, what, 20 years, close to it?
It was never made out to ICC before, so that's.
Right. I think it always said Civic Net. And so now
We have E-Rate Central. We have IS Corp. We have that's not a monthly. Regional Technology Center Communications, involving in that plan was previously funded directly by the state of Illinois. STL Virtual Server, STL Virtual Server Hosting, that's the business upgrade, that's the one-time upgrade. Stratus Network, Ethernet, private line 40 megahertz megabits per second, and Ethernet line 110 megabits per second. This is a split out bill difference, that's all.
500 a month we're gonna see mostly because of STL.
That's our virtual server hosting.
All right, did anyone else have any questions? Saw several of you looking through. None? Okay, roll call please.
Higgins.
Aye.
Cagle. Catherine Reagan. Tyler.
Aye.
Reiner.
Aye.
Bailey.
Aye, motion carried. Need a motion regarding the treasurer's report.
I make the motion to approve the treasurer's report dated September 30th, 2015.
Second.
Questions? Comments? Roll call please.
Higgins.
Aye.
Cagle. Catherine Reagan. Tyler.
Aye.
Reiner. Bailey.
Aye, motion carried. Need a motion regarding the LaSalle School Activity Funds.
I'll make the motion to approve the August and September LaSalle School Activity Fund reports.
Second.
Questions? Comments? Roll call please.
Higgins.
Aye.
Cagle. Catherine Reagan. Tyler.
Aye.
Reiner. Bailey.
Aye, motion carried. Need a motion regarding the Parkview School Activity Fund report.
Make a motion to approve the September Parkview Activity Fund report.
Second.
Questions? Comments? Roll call please.
Higgins.
Aye.
Cagle. Catherine Reagan. Tyler.
Aye.
Reiner. Bailey.
Aye, motion carried. Need a motion regarding the resolution 1510. Mrs. Kreiner?
Make a motion to approve Resolution 15-10, Notice of Amended Budget Hearing. Be it resolved by the Board of Education of Creve Coeur School District 76, County of Tazewell, State of Illinois, as follows. Section 1, that the budget, as heretofore prepared and amended by Superintendent Mr. Shane Aldridge, is hereby approved and amended budget only in the form attached hereto and made a part hereof. Section 2, that said amended budget shall be made available in such form to public inspection for at least 30 days prior to the final action thereon. Section 3, that notice of the availability of said amended budget for public inspection shall be given by publication in the Beacon Daily Times, being a newspaper published or circulated in the school district. Section 4, that a public hearing shall be held as to such amended budget on the 15th day of December 2015 at the hour of 6 p.m. at the Litchfield Building located at 400 North Highland Avenue in Village of Creve Coeur, County of Tazewell, State of Illinois. Adopted this 27th day of October 2015.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do you want to start with questions or explanation first? Mr. Aldridge?
Yes. When we, I'm sorry. Our corrected budget was submitted to the State Board of Education right after the last meeting, and it was swiftly approved, so there was no problems there. And as we had discussions previously, we were in the process, or going to engage in the process of amending the budget once it was approved by the State Board of Education. So that's what brings us here now. This is the notice of amended budget hearing to set the hearing on the 15th. The budget in its form, both formats here, will be on public display from now until then, and giving plenty of time for public inspection. And that is, we will come back then at our December meeting to vote on this amended budget. These amendments and the written pages right after the resolution in your packet, the written pages are updated to from the first one that was given to you back in August. So there are some changes that you'll find in here. But these are the amendments to address board concerns, board needs, board's directions. There are amendments to some of the structural issues that we have that have come up between now, the last budget and this budget. And obviously it's making the transfers of money from our working cash fund to the other two funds to fully pay for the expenses we have coming out of those accounts, namely being the education and the operations and maintenance and capital projects funds. So moving some money around, making allocations for money to address the issues, concerns, and directives of the board, and to update our facilities and technology. So nothing has changed too dramatically in this amended budget summary, this report from your first one, and that you were doing back in August. But there were just some minor adjustments to it. So that gets us to this point.
The additional personnel was in here.
Yes,
And it was not in August, which.
correct.
That's
Correct.
one
The
that
hiring of 2 math interventionists. That is correct.
Okay, any questions about the description? Anything we've forgotten? Kind of like now,
Well, not necessarily.
but.
It's an amendment. We've got until December.
The only thing I noticed was the windows at LaSalle, but I figured maybe that would be next year anyway, because we can't do them during school.
Well, not everything was. These were not specific one-to-one kind of things. These were just to give the board some ideas of what we were thinking under teacher salaries, special ed, health insurance, those kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
It was just kind of general descriptions.
Yes,
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, any questions on the budget itself? Mr. Gibbons?
No questions.
Okay, we are over the administrative tax cap, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, will we apply for a waiver?
That is correct. We will need to apply for a waiver, and we will take care of that when we submit the amended budget. We are not in a deficit budget, deficit spending budget, and so there's no need for a deficit reduction plan at this time. So the estimated limitation of administrative costs is page 27. You can see there that because of some of our changes that we've had to administrative situation, that there was some issues. The issue with this document is that you will see we cannot put those totals in there and submit to the state until we have our audit completed. So the estimated actual expenditures for fiscal year 2015 need to be our audited costs. So we have to wait for our audit letter and to get done, but that'll be done probably right about the same time that the amended budget would be approved at our board meeting. So I think it's going to all fit in pretty nicely here. But yes, we are, and we will need to take action to get a waiver of those administrative costs.
And that was the board's decision, so.
That is correct.
Is there a limit on that? Do we have a time limit?
For
order to
submission?
file? Mhm.
No. It is after, I think it's 30 days after your budget, or your amendment. 30 days after your audit has been completed, then you would fill this out and send it into the state. Yes.
Have the auditors started yet?
That is correct. They will be here on site tomorrow, no, Thursday and Friday, actually, not tomorrow. So they will be here, and Ms. Cornwell and I have been diligently, her more than me, working on putting this all together for our new auditor, and it seems like it'll be a smooth process. So, we're hopeful.
Any other questions? Anyone asking questions? Roll call, please.
Goodings,
Aye.
Cagle. Aye. Catherine Reagan.
Aye.
Val Reagan. Tyler.
Aye.
Griner. Bateman.
Aye, motion carried. Now that Mrs. Reagan has arrived, let's go back and do our policies. Mr. Giddens?
Can I ask for one more favor?
Sure.
I know there's some questions and people want to discuss this. Can we, I forget the procedure, consensus of the board to suspend the rules, discuss it first and then make the motion, because we're going to make revisions instead of back and forth.
Have no problem with that. Anyone else? Is that okay? All right. Go ahead.
What do we do in one motion? School policies, this packet, we spent probably 3 hours. Mrs. Tyler and Mrs. Bailey and I and Mr. Aldridge. And everybody had a copy that we had received from the Illinois Association of School Boards. And we went through that and discussed it, compared with what we had in our books and what we thought was current policy. And as you see in the very beginning, our minutes are a little bit out of order this year because we was going off the school holiday. But how would you prefer me to proceed with this one? This packet 220.
Does anyone have
Did
a
everybody bring
question?
last month?
I got last month.
Yes.
Okay, let's go with that because 220 is in the beginning. That's powers and duties of the school board 220.
We're gonna do 220? I was looking at the way it's, okay, I'm ready.
And the only thing on that is under powers and duties, the new one recommended that we, under duties of the school board, they for some reason dropped visiting the school district facilities. We thought we should keep that in the language, so we inserted that back in on page 1, on the L page, visiting district facilities, number 20. We thought we should keep that, so board members can. That is one of their responsibilities. And if anybody else has anything, please just jump right in. Board members' qualifications 240.
Okay, on 220 though, you also have, oh, it's exhibit, never mind.
Okay. On 240, board member qualifications is unchanged, no recommended changes. 250, board member term of office, also is unchanged. And 260, board member removal from office is unchanged, and we didn't make any recommendations as a committee. Let's see, board member oath and conduct, 280. We added, and I see there's a code of ethics in the meeting room here now, sitting on the table up front. We want to have that posted. And also during that, we took one of the footnotes on the oath of office, and we recommended that each board member who is taking office shall read the oath during an open meeting and swear or affirm to follow it as indicated in the oath. It is not mandatory that the president or vice president say it's not. It wasn't mandatory. And it was in part of the footnotes in the policy there. So if anybody had, I didn't bring my copy. Should have. No, I have my copy here, but I don't have my footnotes from the IASB. Notes. Just when the oath of office, it doesn't have to be by any member of the board or anything. It has to be done during a meeting. To take the oath off, swearing in. or affirming, or however you choose.
Instead of someone, the president or the vice president or the longest person serving on the board, I think is the way it previously read,
Yeah, that's
would
in
do
here.
the oath of office. What they are asking, that it be changed, that each board member just read the oath. That's the change.
Then can we, I read that in here, and I was thinking, can we have something that says that someone will direct them to read the oath? I mean, because you have to have some type of procedure.
That would be
I mean,
under
just as-
agenda. Normally,
I
I'm
just-
just, this year was a bad year for that.
I mean, I don't disagree with you there, but I still think that to be directed in somehow. I mean, I don't know.
I think somebody should read it, because
Yeah, that's
if
what I
you've
do.
got a new school board member coming on, how intimidating is that to have to stand up and read that by yourself, rather than as a group?
Or just say, someone lead it, say, here, I'm gonna hand you each an oath, could you please read it out loud?
They would have to read it out loud, and it was just like you hand it and read it as a group. And everybody took the oath of office at once. I mean, I see people taking the oath for several other things, and they, somebody may lead it, but it's not required, and if you just read right off the form, it was just the bad thing that we had, it's not required to. And I didn't bring my IASB packet, but there wasn't a footnote, and I just worded it the way it said it in the packet.
So ISAB says you do it this way,
You can do it
each
that
board
way.
member who is taking the office shall read the oath during an open meeting and swear to affirm.
Or affirm.
Personally, don't think it's gonna change anything regarding what happened before, because before you wouldn't have been on the agenda, so you wouldn't have got to read it anyway, but,
That's true.
I mean, if it's gonna come to that type of situation, I don't know that this is gonna fix
Well,
it.
I read mine during the audience participation, and all, that was my last final step. Not, you're recognized by the county. See where the confusion was, I'm sorry, is the secretary of the board no longer canvasses the votes. That's done at the county. And see, normally you would swear in after the votes are canvassed, but you gotta do it at a board meeting. So the county wasn't at our board meeting to canvass of the votes.
You don't canvass those anymore.
Yeah, it used to be the board secretary for officers. Now the board, I think the board secretary still canvasses the vote if we had a resolution on the ballot
Yes.
and stuff like that. That's, as far as the board members, the school board secretary no longer canvasses the votes, that's done at the county. And that's why we have the certificates before the meeting, but before you can actually vote, you have to swear or affirm.
Okay.
So,
When you want a brand new person to be able to have someone say, okay, now you need to do your swear.
Or here's the oath,
Yeah.
can you stand up and read it?
however you want
I
to
agree
do
with just
it,
like lead,
but I don't want,
initiate.
the reason I like the footnote in there, so nobody can say, well, we're not going to refuse to recognize.
We're not
That's
gonna
just-
lead it or initiate it. And I can see that happening too.
And all it is you're a board member, but you're not allowed to vote until you either swear or
But that's happened
affirm.
once and forever. I don't
Hopefully.
Okay, current board policy says, the board president will administer the oath in an open board meeting. In the absence of the president, the vice president will administer the oath. If neither is available, the board member with the longest service on the board will administer the oath. I remember that pretty well, didn't I? Okay, so what Mr. Giddens is proposing, or the committee is proposing, is to take that out and place each board member who is taking. That's the controversy here.
I guess we could do it however. Initiated, just depends on the board at the time.
They're gonna have to follow house.
Right. IASB originally proposed this. I mean, it's not an original policy by any means. The IASB first came out with this in order: board president, vice president, or the longest serving service. It's up to the board, whatever they feel more comfortable with? Did you find the footnotes?
There's nothing in the press. There's nothing here in the press. We didn't even address 280. That was brought
In
in.
August of 280. It's in 280 because that's where, oh, not in this part, it's in the, and I did bring it in with me. But I mean, if the board's uncomfortable with that,
I have 280 in
2:80, there we go,
You've got it.
there we
Mrs.
go.
Walton has it, I believe. Oh, okay. All right. Okay, all right, that's fine.
Somebody else wants to do
Yeah,
that?
Yeah, I'm gonna see it.
2:80.
Thank you.
Okay.
See, it was an option.
Oh, the footnote, optional state law allows the board to determine how the oath is administered. Use the following alternative if the board does not want anyone else to administer the oath. Each board member who is taking office shall read the oath during an open meeting and swear or to follow as it is indicated in the oath.
But does that necessarily mean, so, I mean, it gives you the freedom to read it, but does that mean that the president can't administer it? Because nowhere in there does it say that you can't do it in a group or the president or VP or the longest standing member can't.
Right.
So hopefully
Give
what's
it to
happened in the past is not gonna reoccur, because
I agree.
honestly, it looked like a bunch of, it looked like a circus. And let's just hope that we move past that and that never occurs again, because we don't need that disruption for anyone in our community, don't you agree?
I agree with all of that, but then when I seen that in the footnotes, and I read the code before that meeting, it wasn't mandatory. I had to, that was just, I can't vote on any action. I mean, I've already been canvassed, I've already received a certificate, I just had to wait for a board meeting and
And it was the second board meeting.
a board meeting, no, just a board meeting, an open meeting, and then read the oath of office, and then I can
At the
start
time, it was the
voting.
second one.
But it didn't, but like Miss Reagan just said, someone could still hear even if we have a language, but nobody can say, well, I didn't need it and it don't count.
Well, and
I honestly,
And
I
that's the
agree
problem
with
we're having.
Randy. I agree with Randy.
matters.
You know,
I agree with you.
it should never happen again.
But again, if you have a dictatorship,
If you have problems with the change of order,
Okay, everybody comfortable with leaving it this way, or you can vote no on it?
or
This is
changing,
the way it
I mean,
stands.
changing it.
okay, you're saying leave it this way and you can vote no if you don't agree. Leave it, right?
Leave it
Leave
the
the
way
amended
it
version
says.
or the original?
The original.
What you have to vote on tonight is the changed version. So,
Change.
Which is which
Now I'm
one?
confused.
So we're
Changing
voting
to
to
approve
approve
the
the
changes
changes
that
that we are
I know, but
recommending.
I agree doesn't mean you change it.
Then you
Oh,
would
I
vote
think
for
we're
it.
gonna leave it alone.
No, the committee has brought to the board this change. So,
This change.
this change.
Change here?
Yes.
Each board member who is taking office shall read
Right.
the oath during an open meeting and
Right.
swear or confirm to follow it as indicated in the oath. That
But it
is the
doesn't
change.
say that you still can't have the president lead it. Right.
All right. Next.
So I'm not confused at the end here. So I'm not, because we'll be making a motion as recommended by the full board. What is the recommendation of the full board? Are we going to stay with the original?
You're not gonna know until the board votes on it.
Yeah.
I was just trying to, we're
Oh,
gonna
okay.
vote on each, we're gonna vote on each policy?
If there's some,
We're not.
Well, we might have to.
We might have to if
might
there's
pull this one out
controversy.
if people don't agree with 280.
Yeah.
Okay, we can take a consensus. I mean,
Yeah,
that's,
because if you get,
okay.
I don't want to turn down all the policies because of one policy.
Be careful what you wish for then. All right,
The consensus.
Ms. Reagan, do you want to leave it as is?
As which.
As presented?
Meaning that with the change.
Yes,
With
What's in the book?
I want the change.
Yeah, that's,
Okay.
yes, I'll leave it, yeah,
Okay.
that's fine.
All right.
That's fine.
All right, would you like to move on?
Okay, sorry. I get back on our agenda. Is this it?
Do we want to go through all of them, or is there just?
200. Is
Just
there
ones
something?
that, how about we just go through the ones that you guys recommend changes or we want changes?
Okay,
And we did have a few questions too for the full board, which
yes, we
I
did.
don't
It's in
know
your
how we wanna
notes.
start with your questions. Yours, go with your guys'.
You see, and this in here says 200. That's where we had questions of the board's treatment of closed meetings, verbatim, records and minutes.
2220, right? Yeah.
2220, and it says exhibit 1, but I think this is 22, I'm not sure. The 2220 is the next item up on there. And what that dealt with is every board meeting, we would go into closed session and discuss the previous meeting's closed minutes.
Closed session minutes.
Yes. And then we would come out and either vote to release those or not. Then we would do
No, that's 2220.
220,
It's 2220, exhibit 1.
2:20.
Oh, sorry.
These
All
are
right.
the policies.
Yeah,
And we
okay.
we wanted to bring the question here, if the full board wanted to add that to our policy. To do it at every meeting or every
We
month?
wanted our policy to match what we're doing. Because right now, we do it every 6 months. We go back and we look at the minutes in the closed session. The policy is worded that we're doing it every month. And the only thing I ask is, what does the board want to do? And let's make our policy reflect what we're going to do. See, we don't look at the minutes.
Oh, look at me. What do you?
I think we should do it, go to what you suggested.
Take the change that they recommend. Or,
Yeah.
no, it's not a change. I think it's actually in the policy. We're just not doing it.
At every meeting it says, yeah, not every month.
So then you're gonna have to have a motion to release those on every agenda.
On every agenda.
Is that too much? Because it doesn't say every month, this is every meeting in here. Yours.
Right. I mean, that's what our current policy is, I believe. And I just brought it up.
No, every
Let's
month.
change it every month, okay. It's easier if we do it every meeting. If we have a closed session in the next meeting, we're going to look at the minutes. And
Rather
get
than do
release
it twice a year.
Correct.
You could do that?
Way back when we kept missing those deadlines.
Right.
There are a lot of boards that have been doing this, yes.
So do you guys want to do it every meeting or every month?
We want to do it once a month. At every meeting, it's going to get really.
Especially when you don't go to closed sessions, and not every, if you don't go to every meeting, what if you have a special meeting or you just have a meeting where you have to do things you don't go to closed sessions and?
We do it on the business meeting, what we call
You would only
business
have to
meeting.
do it as if you, previous meeting, you had a closed session.
That's true. But then you have to go into closed session every meeting.
Just to approve the minutes.
Yeah, just to approve the minutes.
Or, and
Which would
then
make,
come out and release them if we want to.
make it easier on you.
Which,
So mine, yep, I think there's a page of this.
Yes. Okay, so what have we decided? We want to do it after at the last meeting of the month?
Regular business.
We really haven't classified them as business meetings, so I'm gonna guess that is when we do all of our businesses, the last meeting of the month. Right. So I would just call it the last meeting of the month, then we,
Okay, by November, you're gonna have to do it at the one and only meeting.
Right, for December.
The one and only meeting.
As long as the board secretary puts it on the agenda, we're.
That's like, this is easier, Pam. Right. Oh, Stephanie, which is easier.
Okay, can
If
you
I
see?
could, in your flow sheets, the ones that you have, the emotions at the table, there is a page missing, it must have got stuck in the top here, so Ms. Walton's gonna go take it out of, she has it in hers, so she's gonna go make us a copy. That's the one that has the exhibits, 2, 3,
Yeah.
2 and 3, so.
All right, geez.
I was wondering about that.
Okay. Okay, pros and cons, Mr. Aldridge. They're looking
Ma'am.
at 2.220, releasing the closed minutes at every meeting. I think what we've been discussing is once a month instead of every
Every
meeting.
meeting?
Uh, You know, right now, state code says at least once a year. Pros and cons.
That's all that's needed.
Okay.
Under the law, it's semi-annually, so you can even determine when and which months you would like to do this, is semi-annual. Most school districts do it December and July, not necessarily have to be that way. Some school districts are moving toward once a month, just approving the executive session minutes for either release or confidentiality on a monthly basis. Thank you, Paul. There we go. Okay. Some are doing that. I would not. I would not. If we were going to do it on a monthly basis, I would do it once a month, not at every meeting. Because that's what we're trying to do with our business meetings, is if you've noticed the agendas, we do the treasurer's report, we do the minutes from the previous board minutes from that, and just doing those once a month, rather than once every meeting. Are there any advantages to that, to doing it on a monthly basis? I guess if you are a school district that has a number of things going on that go into executive session, which would be declassified, so to speak, or would be released for public inspection. You know, if you have a lot of those things going on, the public would want to know, and it would be an easy way to facilitate that. I don't know that we do a lot of things that we see in executive session that are released, especially on a monthly basis. Most of ours, it has to do with either personnel or students, negotiations, things of that nature, which aren't usually released for the public. So I don't know that it's to your advantage. It's something that could be on the agenda if you have some. Great. If you don't have anything, you don't have to. You don't have to do that. But like you said, you're going to have to go into executive session and review those. So you would have to go into executive session every time if you wanted to do that. But just because it's on the agenda doesn't mean that you have to take any action on it. So I don't think that there's any real advantages or disadvantages in doing it either way. So it's really to the board's pleasure, however you want to conduct your business.
If you wanted to look, I do think there's one advantage, because we approve the minutes each month. We're looking at our closed minutes months 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months later. We haven't seen the minutes, and we're sitting there, all of us are sitting back there reading the minutes. Is that what we,
Is that what we discussed, or
Yeah.
what is that about?
Yeah, you gotta jog your memory in that and decide, yeah, maybe we should release it. And if we're not gonna do it, like it says in the book, it's looking at 2:220 on the green page. It comes in here, approves previous closed meeting minutes at the next open meeting, is what it says in here.
Oh, wow.
we need to change that in our policy or not?
Well, another thing is it might add to transparency, that if we want to be more transparent, we would be releasing them earlier instead of every 6 months.
I'm thinking of my memory.
Or every month you have a notation that says you're not releasing information.
We've got a question.
It goes both ways.
Mrs. Walton, I think. When we do that, when we release the minutes, you always have the list of all the ones that we had not done before. Are we gonna have to do that every month? It seems like a.
No, this just says approve the previous,
And add to.
no, okay, I meant, maybe I misspoke, or I did misspoke. We're not approving to release it, I misspoke when I said, we're just approving the minutes. We can't approve those minutes out in open session. I misspoke, you're reading this again. If you have that with you.
Today's an open meeting.
Yeah, we just approving, because we approved like tonight, we approved the minutes. But we didn't approve any closed session minutes.
So you're only wanting to approve the closed session minutes, not release them.
Or take this paragraph out,
Which paragraph?
on this page right here,
At the top?
the second block,
Oh,
second block. If we're not gonna do it, let's take it out.
Let's take it out.
okay, so just take that one out altogether.
220.
That's the closed meeting.
Anyone?
Because that's only approving the minutes.
Yeah, it's not releasing them, it's
But
only
do you
approving.
wanna do that though? Anyway,
Do you want to approve the closed minutes? Normally
no, for
this-
release, I mean, I don't.
No,
think
this
that
is
would-
only for approving the minutes.
I know, but we
misspoken.
still can go back to see if we want to. As they said, discussion for full board to approve all closed minute meetings at every session.
You're gonna look over executive session minutes and approve them.
Right, you
You're
want
not
to
gonna
do that.
release them.
Approve them or release. That way you don't have to do it every 6 months. I mean, do you wanna just do it, some boards are doing it every month, some boards are doing it every
It's
6
not a bad
months.
idea, because you're at the pleasure of the secretary when you're in there. And if you have a secretary that, or I may not capture everything that you want in those minutes. So it's
Right.
not a bad idea to review this, because otherwise it all comes back on me.
And we've
Yeah,
known
my memory.
from past experience that it's like, wait a minute, what happened? That's not what was said. That was not what was said at the closed session meeting.
The full board will make sure those minutes are what they think the meeting reflected.
Well, as long as we're not confusing with releasing.
Not releasing.
That was my error,
Only-
it's not releasing, it's not,
Alright.
that was my error.
So,
So there, what needs to change on the agenda? When we go into executive session, is there a,
We need a motion
To
when we come out.
review the
Well, it
minutes.
says here, if the board wants to discuss closed meeting minutes in closed session, places review of unreleased closed meeting minutes on a closed meeting agenda, and then places result of board's review of unreleased closed meeting minutes as an item on a subsequent open meeting agenda.
so that could be every 6 months then, to release it?
subsequent.
On the next.
Well, it would work because we could just say, we reviewed the closed meeting session and we will approve them based on, that's just approving them, based on recommendations or as if they were. Like we do with this.
Yeah, because we're supposed to come out, we can't vote in closed session, because we're going to vote on, them. We have to vote
Right, and
to approve
open,
them.
right, we'll vote to approve them with recommendations. I mean, we're not going, you don't have to say what was in there, whose name and what was done, you just say. We vote to approve them or just not approve them or approve them with recommendations. Because just like she said, just in case something's not captured, we can say, hey, you know, wait a minute, this was missing.
But you're not going to determine release or
No.
continue
Right, so we're just gonna
confidentiality.
need,
We're gonna need on every agenda, motion to approve closed minutes.
Right.
From,
and to go into executive session to review them.
Right.
And then when you come up, then you vote to
And then the next month,
Motion to approve the October executive session.
results
minutes.
of board's review of unreleased closed meeting minutes as an item on the subsequent open meeting agenda. So,
That's on here.
I brought it up because if we're not gonna do it, I just wanted to get it out of the policy so nobody comes back to you're not following policy.
Seems like a lot of extra work, but I can see some merit to it.
Or once a month we could do it. Not do it every month.
No, just once a month, I think would be enough.
Last
If you're gonna
meeting-
do it, let's don't do it every
Last
month.
meeting of the month.
So don't do it every
every
meeting.
meeting, okay.
Not every meeting. Okay,
So ours will be last meeting of the month.
so is that the consensus I'm getting? Mrs. Walton, do you have a question?
So am I leaving this or am I?
It sounds like we're leaving it, but we're only gonna do it in the last meeting.
And so future agendas would have an item after executive session to approve the minutes,
The closed session
closed
minutes.
session minutes.
And the motion to go into executive session has to say to review the closed session meeting.
Yeah. When we go into closed session to discuss it, we have to review that month's meeting.
Good idea.
Okay. All right. Consensus is to make that, everybody agree?
Yes.
Okay. All right,
That's up to the whole board there.
what's
We didn't
next?
recommend anything. The next one there should be two colon 240, board policy development. It was unchanged. 2 colon 250, I'm going like down on minutes again, I'm sorry.
I thought we were just asking our questions. I thought we were going down each thing first.
Right down your thing here. It was unchanged. The other one was the AP non-discrimination coordinator complaint, 2 colon 260. It's not in this order.
Okay, Mr. Giddens, what are we doing?
I'm sorry, this one's not on this agenda. And that was basically the non-discrimination coordinator, complaint managers. All we had to do was update, I think, the names on that.
No, it's two.
That was
Is it an
AP.
AP?
It's on
AP.
two.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Sorry.
that's an AP,
So it's
My
down below.
mistake.
Okay,
my mistake.
you need to clarify, what are we doing? Are we going by this month's policy? This meeting's
I'm gonna
list?
have to back off a little bit to make sure that I'm looking. 440, correct?
Which one are you going, you're going on the old one, right? Or
The
you're just going
new
down?
one, but I'm gonna have to skip around on this to find our notes.
He's looking at the sheet from today. Okay.
Incurring debt, it was unchanged, 4 colon 40, incurring debt.
Okay, you're just going to go through the policies right now, right?
What's on our agenda tonight?
Right, the policy first.
Right,
Okay.
4 colon 40.
If you will go to your flow chart, it's much easier. It's already listed out, so you don't lose your place. Okay?
Pretty much this.
Yeah.
Okay. Much easier to read, I think. How's that?
Okay,
And they are all separated,
and then 455,
okay?
that was also unchanged, use of the district credit card procurement.
But does anyone have any questions on it?
That's where I said just jump in.
I just want to make sure before we just keep going.
I mean, the committee went along with the IASB. Okay, move on.
Mhm.
4 colon 55, whoops, 4 colon 60, purchases and contracts. And I don't see it in the notes.
It's on the next page.
I'm sure it was unchanged.
Okay, activity funds, 4 colon 90. That's where, in the policy, it talks about the custodian has to be bonded. We have some discussion on that. The custodian of the accounts, not,
Right.
Oh.
I have them separated
Yeah,
out
it's
under the
gonna be
5-year
first.
review and then revisions,
Okay.
the
Yeah, 'cause I
administrative
have
review,
my
so that
custodian as a
one is
student.
under the other.
Okay. Was it unchanged?
Which one was it?
For 6?
well, the policy says you have the custodian of the
It was
account.
unchanged.
Was unchanged. Thank you. Okay. So what did we find out about the principals having to be bonded? When we find out that one might have to be?
It's not insurance, what it,
There's coverage for them, and insurance is in
the school code, that's what I thought they
That
were.
was a school
Mr.
law.
Aldridge
it's
wrote us, I
school
just
law.
don't have
Yeah,
to
he wrote
remember.
us, he sent us an email explaining
Yes.
insurance, but it's the school law says
Right,
the custodian of the accounts have to be bonded. Now, if we have a letter from the insurance saying, I don't know how all bonding works, I don't know if I'm still bonded.
Mr. Aldridge.
But if we're not going to have the custodians of the accounts, and it doesn't have to be the principal, that's who we currently have appointed as custodians. I mean, we're either gonna change our policy or we're going to keep it the same. And the policy is right now in compliance with the school code.
Mr. Aldridge,
Yes, ma'am.
would you like to comment on this, please?
I could.
All right.
There is no provision that I found in the, that says that school activity account funds, that those custodians need to be bonded when they're a school employee, okay? There are provisions, or it's the recommendation and best practice, that if you have someone who is not a school employee, such as a band booster club, which could be a parent who is, a volunteer, and they are handling large amounts of money sometimes, that those persons you could bond to control and protect the risk of any kind of fraud. For school employees, our umbrella liability insurance, as Mr. Booth pointed out in the email that I sent to the board a while back, the opinion of the Unlin Insurance Group is that our policy that has the provision for the theft and fraud in there for school personnel, that policy would cover any kind of theft or fraud by school employees. So we're covered there. There's no reason to have someone bonded above and beyond if they're covered under the insurance policy for school employees. If they're a volunteer, obviously it kind of makes sense to have, a bonded, because they would not be covered under our employee theft and fraud coverage. Our school treasurer, who is ultimately responsible, is bonded above and beyond. So that's taken care of in his for him. But there just isn't a requirement or a need for activity funds the way that we conduct business for school principals to be bonded. If they're employees, we're okay, we're covered.
That's how Liberty is set up under their stuff for schools.
Mr. Gibbons, what does the footnote say? Does it say that it's
That's-
mandated?
That's what I was just looking for, what the policy says, and that's what I'm saying, if we need to change it. I just found it in the footnotes if you want to skip. Here it is, footnotes. I'll just hand it to you. What the policy simply states is one sentence. The board will appoint a treasurer for each fund to serve as a fund's sole custodian and be bonded in accordance with the school code, which Mr. Aldridge just explained. But I'd have to go back and look at the footnotes.
I don't see any footnotes in it.
Not in this here, the footnotes is what I emailed to everybody,
Okay.
and it's in that copy there too.
Well, there's already coverage in the policy that Umland has for us with Liberty. It's not a separate.
So in the footnotes, right, in the footnotes, right, in the footnotes for that sentence, footnote number 3 says, and it's citing to the Illinois School Code, 105 ILCS 5/8-2, a board's insurance carrier can assist the board with obtaining bonds for these individuals. Right, so
Back to saying bonds again.
bonds again for those individuals who are appointed treasurers. And our insurance carrier said that if we are appointing employees as the custodians of those funds,
Okay.
our insurance policy will cover any theft or fraud that they would commit against those funds.
Do we need to change this wording or is this fine?
No, ma'am. You
Sounds fine.
You leave it there because there may be at some point where there is a band booster club where you have someone who might be a non-employee, and then you would want that bond. Yeah. So I would just leave it, that would be my recommendation, but obviously the board.
Moving on. Next one.
Hiring process criteria, I believe that was unchanged,
What
or
number?
it just says approved. 5:30, hiring process and criteria. These we marked approved, I don't remember if these were new or if they were. Deems,
These are not new, these were just approved with their change.
with their changes.
The policy was updated to implement the change in the law.
Okay. 5:310, compensatory time off, I can't pronounce it. Compensatory time off. And I know we had some discussion there, and I know there were some discrepancies. I think the current policy just said that we don't really have a current policy.
And this would be our manual. Oh,
Right.
the educational support personnel, that's it? 4310? I mean,
No.
5310?
5:330,
Oh, 33. I thought you were.
no, 5:330.
Well, this one says 5:310 is compensatory time off.
Right.
313.
The 330 is the sick days and vacation holidays and leaves.
Yes,
Okay, we're on 5310, compensatory time off.
and we didn't make any recommendations on that, we just wanted the whole board to look at that, look at the current, I'm looking at the current
I have a question on it.
service support personnel.
Because it says, other than and proceed the following, no time may any employee accumulate compensatory time off exceed 240 hours. Can we lower that? I mean, that's 6 weeks off for compensatory time off. Isn't that like more comp time? Or I'm looking at compensatory time off as not comp time?
That is the same thing, compensatory, comp time.
Right, isn't that like if you
Compensatory
exceed
time.
40 hours, that you just kind of accumulate this extra time?
Correct.
Do we really want someone that accumulates 6 weeks extra time?
Maybe that doesn't happen, but
I'm just saying, should we lower it to say if you get above this much time that, yeah, just take a vacation, 2 vacation days?
Now, the board, this is new policy for us. If we go with this compensatory time, I did look in our, this is the educational support personnel that's not covered by the union contract. And you can see this is a lot more generous than what's in our union contract, so I would focus it back and turn it back.
I mean, I'm just like,
You get this one here,
it's a high number, yeah.
well, this one's giving you your first 4 years, 2 weeks paid time off.
so what would you suggest, Mrs. Reagan?
Well, I think they should be able to accumulate comp time, but I think once they get to like 160 hours comp time at the most, they should start taking it. I mean, can you imagine if someone quit, you just have to give them 6 weeks paid time off?
Or upon termination of employment, an employee will be paid for unused compensatory time at the higher rate of the average regular rate received in the last 3 years of employment, or the final regular rate received by such employee.
Exactly, but I'm just saying, if you quit tomorrow, that's, you have to pay me the whole time, the whole.
That is true.
Okay, does everyone agree with changing the 240 hours to 160?
I mean, it's still quite a bit.
What was that?
It's in the middle of the paragraph, it's, I think there's a wrong one. It's on this side, the comp time off right here.
I was on,
So it says, if an employee accrues the maximum number of compensatory time hours, the employee shall, 1, be paid for any additional time, overtime hours worked, or 2, does not accumulate compensatory time off until the employee uses an equal amount of accrued time off. So once they get to that, whatever number you come up with, it stops, and we have to either make them take the time off, or we have to pay them.
I agree, I think that's how it should be.
Well, that's how it's written,
Right.
so.
You would also change the 480.
Well,
Yes.
480 doesn't really apply to us, because that is for employees who work regularly, whose work includes public safety, emergency response, or seasonal activities. I don't see that.
Let's just take the whole sentence out then, right? Yeah.
Since it doesn't pertain. Do you agree, Mr. Giddens?
yeah, I mean, this was for the whole board,
Right.
the committee didn't recommend anything else. So,
So
taking out that whole sentence. And then there was something about the time off, exceed 240, what was the suggestion?
I said 160.
So that,
So that, which
Compensatory time
represents
off.
compensation for, that would lower too, so I.
that would also lower that, right?
It's like one. I don't know, let me think. So 160 divided by 1.5. Maybe 120. I think so, 120. Okay, cool.
Okay, so you want the 240 changed to 160, and the 160 changed to 120.
And then the next sentence removes the entire.
Yeah.
And the next sentence completely removed.
And I think as we continue to get people that have to work that much overtime, or time and a half, you might add numbers. I mean, add another person.
Anything else on this? Board in consensus to make the change? Okay. Next.
And that is the sick days, vacation, holidays, and leaves. Again, if we're looking at, this is support personnel, what this is addressing, it's not covered under the labor agreement.
Right.
And like you here says, their vacation time here is much greater than what the support personnel get. And I think it should be in line with what the other support personnel negotiate. So we don't have the conflict. You know, like here, beginning year 16, they're gonna get 20 days off per year. And our other support personnel only get 15. They get 3 weeks off.
For the first year?
No, they're 16th, beginning of their 16th year. So I think if everybody would take the time and look at this. And also our support contract and holidays, they get more holidays than what this thing lists.
But this is 12-month employees too, it says. Vacation 12-month employees shall be eligible for paid vacation days according to the following schedule.
Educational, support people, regular support people, is that what you guys are trying to do?
No, he's saying our educational support people, the 17 contract is different than what this is. This is non-union.
This is what's recommended by the IASB. They're not looking at our contract.
Right, but this
And I'm
also
trying to
goes
look at our
along with the
contract.
12-month employee.
And we have 12-month employees.
I agree, but I'm just saying, sometimes that's what I get.
It's way different than what?
Is it?
We do not,
Do we need that
It says
information?
Why don't we default to our
shall
contract?
accumulate
Yeah.
to a maximum.
Like we
because,
always have.
no, this is not union people.
Right.
Okay.
This
That's
is
what he's trying
only
to
the
say.
secretaries. It's only,
And it's like, it says any sick leave shall accumulate to a maximum of 180 days. So what do you do with the people that have more than 180 sick days? You're telling them to use sick days.
For what? No, this is different.
We do
That
not
was
have-
compensatory time.
policy currently on this.
Oh,
This is
she's
new.
on the next
Yeah.
policy now.
Yeah, our policy now is left,
This is the one that I said,
Yeah.
you're opening up a can of worms if you adopt this, I think.
yeah, there's some problems
Yes.
with this.
Yes.
Oh, I see what you're saying, because that meant for 180 days including leave of the current year.
But I believe that's all teachers are allowed too, isn't it?
No, just keep.
Can we just put this on?
I thought they capped at 180 days.
No,
Oh, I thought they did. Okay.
3 years.
they don't.
There's an IMRF,
Was
like
it
you use like
retirement?
your report,
Yeah.
what your retirement.
I believe so.
360. They're 360. Our cap's 360.
360 now?
Yeah, it went up a few years ago. It's
340.
2 year or 3
340.
It's 2 years. It's 2 school
2 years.
years for a teacher.
Okay.
Speak back.
1 year when I was on board.
Support staff.
Shelley, I would never do that, but if somebody else
This
came
is
in
not
here,
the
I
one
would
I'm
just
thinking about.
encourage them to
It
use
says-
sick time, so because they wouldn't lose it.
Here's our current policy. Defaults to the contract.
So, can we
Yes.
just keep our current policy?
Each of the provisions in this policy applies to all educational support personnel to the extent that it does not conflict with an applicable collective bargaining agreement. Okay, this isn't the same one, so I think we
Well, this was
really,
our question.
okay.
That was our question. How are we going to handle those that are not in the contract? And that's,
Right,
Oh,
right.
This is
That's
just
what
our
about
policy.
At will employees.
Yes.
yes, this is what
We're
they,
not trying to change it.
That's what they're trying to-
That's not this.
right, that's what they're trying to ask about. I guess, I don't know.
Because it doesn't say for
Put
that.
that back in policy today. Go again.
Do it again.
Not with this, you're gonna have to find something else if you want to do that.
No, we didn't recommend it. It was the recommendation was bring it to the full board to discuss it.
On how we're going to handle those employees that are not in the agreement.
How we handled them in the past.
There should be a policy.
We gotta have something in writing
Make
for
it.
the future board.
Take
Okay,
it back to policy and write it.
I'll go back to policy.
Well, it protects that a little bit.
So there's nothing in place right now?
It's not.
Not that I know of.
That's, I mean, it's just some, the protects them, says how many holidays they get.
Am I right, Mrs. Walton? There is nothing for at-will employees.
About how many holidays you get
Is it
off.
check?
By the holidays are the same as support staff.
Support staff. There's
Pretty
nothing,
much follow
no
Which
contract.
is more
And if you
than
want
this.
policy, we need to pull out the contract and make it,
Yeah, because this has more the contract has more holidays than what this has.
okay.
That's what I'm saying, the whole board needs to,
All you would have to
Marry
do
up.
is write a policy that says all at-will employees will abide by the support staff contract.
okay.
Period.
For sick days and vacation days and holidays.
Right.
And leave.
Right.
All right, is the board in consensus to remove 5.330 from the agenda tonight?
Yes.
Yes?
But I will say, if you say that it's for sick days, vacation, holidays, and leaves, I'm not sure what the support staff has for compensatory time.
They don't.
They don't.
They don't. Okay, so we're not messing with that policy then. Okay, I just didn't want to think, okay, we just
All right. Best I can, what?
You know, the numbers, yeah.
Five point,
If we change, 5310. If you change the compensatory time off not to exceed 160 hours, that represents compensation for 107 hours, not 120.
okay, change the 120 to 107. Okay, we're taking off 5.330 for tonight's agenda. Next is 8100. Any questions, comments on that one?
And I think that was also unchanged.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, which ones are changed?
8:100, relations with other organizations.
Okay, are we finished with policies?
With policy, yes. You want me to
Okay.
make a motion?
Please?
I make the motion to approve first reading of the updated and reviewed board policies. 2:20, powers and duties of school board indemnification. 2:40, board member qualifications. 2:50, board member term of office. 2:60, board member removal from office. 2:80, board member oath and conduct. 2:200, types of school board meetings. 2:230, public participation at school board meetings and petitions to the board. 2:240, board policy development. 4:40, incurring debt. 4:55, use of credit and procurement cards. 4:60, purchase and contract. 4:90, activity funds. 5:30, hiring process criteria. 5:310, compensatory time off. 8:100, relations with other organizations and agencies.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Giddens.
Aye.
Hagel.
Aye.
Catherine Reagan.
Aye.
Val Reagan.
Aye.
Tyler.
Aye.
Bringer.
Aye.
Bailey.
Aye, motion carried. Need a motion to approve the administrative procedures unless you would like to waive for discussion first. Okay, discussion first.
Okay, the first one listed is the 4:260-AP2. Let's see our notes on that one.
Approved with recommended changes.
Approved with recommended changes. Was that the IASB recommended, or did we recommend?
Procedure updated to reflect new material and policies and procedures section.
Thank you.
Okay, that's working. Randy, read the, you read the number?
4:45-AP.
Okay.
Insufficient funds, check.
We approved and it is new to our manual.
4:45-AP. I'm sorry, 4:55-AP.
This one was unchanged.
Okay.
4:60-AP1, purchases.
We approved their changes.
Okay. 4:70-AP, resource conservation.
New to our manual.
And 4:10, correction.
This said it was renumbered.
Yeah,
Did I read that?
I don't know, it just said, renumbered.
they changed the number on the policy, was the only change. 4:110-AP1, school bus post-accident checklist.
And the legal reference was changed and the rest was unchanged.
5:10-AP, workplace accommodations for nursing mothers.
Unchanged.
5:120-AP2,
Unchanged.
6:120-AP2, access to classrooms and personnel,
Unchanged.
and 8:25-AP, advertising and distributing material in schools provided by non-school related entities.
New term annual.
And I see we're already doing it. A lot of this was also part of the 5-year review. Just, I mean, there may not be any changes. Some of it's legal references or whatever.
Anybody
questions?
have any questions or comments?
I'll make the motion to approve the administrative procedures. 2:260-AP2, non-discrimination coordinator and complaint manager. 4:45-AP, insufficient fund checks. 4:55-AP, controls for use of district credit and procurement cards. 4:60-AP1, purchases. 4:70-AP, resource conservation. 4:110-AP1, school bus post-accident checklist. 5:10-AP, workplace accommodations for nursing mothers. 5:120-AP2, employee conduct standards. 6:120-AP2, access to classrooms and personnel. 8:25-AP, advertising, distributing materials in schools provided by non-school related entities.
Roll call, please.
Higgins.
Aye.
Hagel. Aye. Catherine Reagan. Aye. Val Reagan.
Aye.
Tyler.
Aye.
Griner. Bailey.
Aye, motion carried. Need a motion to approve the administrative exhibits
Waive it for discussion.
or waive it for discussion. Okay.
Okay. 2:220-E1, board treatment of closed meetings, verbatim records and minutes. We've already talked about that one. Okay. 2:250-E1, written request for district public records.
Unchanged.
4:170-AP2- Exhibit 4, letter to parents/guardians about preventing and reducing incidences of sexting.
Renumbered.
Is this reading? 5:310-E, agreement to receive compensatory time off.
New term annual.
6:120-AP1- Exhibit 2, special education required notice and consent forms.
Unchanged.
6:120-AP2- Exhibit 1, request to access classrooms or personnel for special education evaluation and/or observation purposes.
Unchanged.
6:120-AP1- Exhibit 2, special education required notice and consent forms.
Unchanged.
6:120.
120 AP2, Exhibit 1, I see, but I don't see anything Exhibit 2.
That one would be right after. Wait a minute, is that the one we kicked out because that's high school?
Because it's not in there.
That's for the high school students.
So you took it out?
They went to World War II, Korea, and Vietnam, and request a high school diploma.
Oh, okay. So you took it out?
Yeah, because we're not a high school, we're not gonna get
Oh,
it.
that's fine, that's what I'm saying, I didn't see it in here, that's what I was saying. No, that's Exhibit 1, he said Exhibit 2.
Was it AT2 or AT1?
Do the number
No, he
again.
said
Wait a minute.
AC2, Exhibit 2.
Oh, Exhibit 2, yeah, I'm right about it, I'm right
That's what I
about
was
it.
saying, he did.
Special ed's required notice of consent forms.
Yeah, he said it that one already, but then he said Exhibit 2.
So we're okay on this?
AP1,
Yes.
okay. The last one we should drop out, that's 6:300-E1. That's the application for diplomas, and we're not a high school, so
No, he said AP2. It's-
AP1-E2,
Right, we have that.
It's on our agenda twice.
okay.
That's the problem.
There's an E1 and there's an E2.
And
AP1,
E2 is on there twice. Special education required notice of consent forms. Special education required notice of consent forms. It's on there twice.
Okay.
That's where the
Just
problem
cross
is.
one off.
And then the last one is, we recommended dropping the
No, he said.
6:300 E1.
6,300 is the one we should drop, right?
We should drop, because that's for high school students.
Okay, so you want 6,300 taken off.
Yeah, because that doesn't apply to elementary schools.
They dropped the bottom two.
Yes.
Okay.
And Ms. Walton, did you follow all that?
Yes. Drop in the last one.
Two.
Because the one's on there twice.
Okay.
Okay. All right, are we good with all that? Do we have a second?
We haven't made the motion yet.
I just need a
We
motion.
waived it for discussion.
What was,
Let's say it was a
We
motion.
wait too? This one's on here, it's one of the next six.
Okay.
no, E1 and E2, there's two
Make the
exhibits.
motion. Right,
No, there's two different exhibits.
right. But the one with that
On
red.
the agenda twice. Want me to make the motion right after that?
How did you make motion?
Make the motion to approve the administrative exhibits 2:220-E1, board treatment of closed meetings, verbatim records and minutes. 2:250-E1, written request for district public records. 4:170-AP2-E4, letter to parents, guardians about preventing and reducing instances of texting. Sexting, good lord. 5:310-E, agreement to receive compensatory time off. 6:120-AP1-E2, special education required notice and consent forms. 6:120-AP2-E1, request to access classrooms or personnel for special education evaluation and/or observation purposes.
Purposes.
I second.
Okay, we have a second. Roll call, quick.
Goodens.
Aye.
Cable. Aye. Captain Reagan. Aye. Val Reagan. Aye. Tyler.
Aye.
Griner.
Aye.
Bailey.
Aye, motion carried. And I would just invite anyone to come to policy meetings, they're even more fun. All right.
Is this fine?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
That's great.
Very good.
Very good notes. And that works very well with you and him. Okay? Appreciate that. Okay, you don't have any? Okay, reminders of upcoming events. The November 24th meeting, we canceled. So the only meeting in November will be November 10th. Okay. There will only be one meeting in December, December 15th. Okay, Chicago Conference. I sent everyone a link to go get. Yes. Okay. To go to the website and get the description of some of the conferences that you can go to. Look through them, circle what you're interested in. We'll take 5 or 10 minutes next board meeting. It's not set in stone because you very, very likely might change your mind by the time you get there. And one important thing that Mr. Giddens told me when I first got on the board, I think it's worth repeating. If you go into these conferences, you go into a class, it's not what you thought it was. Don't waste your time sitting there. Get up, walk out, find another one. There's so many to choose from that it's hard to pick one. And I mean, I think by us all going around saying what we're interested in or what we might choose, maybe at least that way 4 or 5 won't go to the same one. 2 people can go to the same one and come out with completely different information. That's fine, but maybe it would steer us a different way. And I'm not sure who told us this, pick two. Pick two per session, yeah, because that one may not be any good, it may be full. That is one thing you need to remember too, is Saturday morning, the first one is usually packed. You wanna get there early or it's standing run. And Mr. Giddens, you were gone when I remembered what you told me when I first got on the board. If it's not what you thought it was, get up and walk out. It costs too much money to sit there and try to go through it if you're not getting anything out of it. Okay, on that note, Mrs. Cornwell, over there. There we go. Gave us these papers to fill out. She needs you to fill them out and leave them here tonight. Is that correct? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. It's who's driving to Chicago. You will get a check for gas mileage if you're driving.
Thank you.
We're going to do the $50 a day. That is what policy says. What else? Parking. They need to know if you're going to park in, which one do we have? Sheraton parking deck, or otherwise. Sometimes the other one's cheaper, but you have to walk. And then they will issue us a check. We don't know when yet, do we?
Should be the November board meeting.
That'll be the
November
10th. Okay, that early? Okay. And so I would also say that any money that is not used, please return it to the district. It's the kids' money. We aren't going to mess with receipts per se. Well, that's if you want additional above and beyond, isn't it? Yes.
No, I don't want
Like if you take taxis and stuff, you bring back your receipt and the district will reimburse you for that.
It depends on which way you go up as to whether there is toll roads or,
Yes,
non-tolls.
right, and you would be reimbursed for those. Okay, so do that tonight. Okay. Is that all about conference? Yes. Okay. IASB board training, we decided to cancel it. We could not get a date that we could all agree on, and I don't wanna use the money. If we can, I'll do it, so maybe after the first of the year even. Okay, invitations. I was given invitations by Ms. Millicent for the board members to attend their Thanksgiving dinner. Yes, it is on November 19th, on Thursday. All right.
For those of you that don't know, Ms. Millicent has the special needs students that are on the lower end of the spectrum, so they have a lot of mental and physical disabilities. So what happens, or what she does is she does this, has the students preparing and helping with the preparation and cooking of the actual Thanksgiving meal, and parents are invited. Also, the school staff are invited as well. So she sent these. This is the first time I've seen actual invitations. I've always gotten email invitations, so that's kind of a nice thing. But it is for Ms. Millicent's special needs class.
Right, and you have attended.
Yes, ma'am, I have.
Okay, I don't know if you got an email or not about the Central Illinois Valley Division Governing Meeting. It is on December 2nd. This is not your breakout sessions, this is just dinner and discuss the conference, your opinions up. So if anyone wants to go to that, we've got the information here.
Please notify Ms. Walton as soon as possible so that she can register everyone.
I don't think the board normally, this board hasn't attended.
I had one. It was just more,
It was more input from the conference. The one in the spring is a bit different. Then you can give suggestions for the upcoming conference, I think. Okay, Mr. Aldridge also sent everyone an email today. I'm not sure if you had time to read it or not. It was from the state superintendent, Tony Smith, about the report cards. And park test, and when we will put ours online, correct? We can choose after the state releases it.
That is correct.
So we need to know what the board would like to do. Would you like to, once the state releases it, do you want to put it on the website? Because the park tests are not going to be released until after the first of the year now. Is that correct?
That is correct. The Illinois Interactive Report Card will become live on Friday, October 30th. What the report card has for all of the school districts in Illinois basically is student and teacher demographics, enrollment, district level financial information, and the 5 essential survey information, graduation rates, and those things. There are no testing, no assessment scores or anything like that that will be reported on the interactive report card that comes out on Friday. Okay, so this is just a requirement that the State Board of Education has through the Department of Education. So they're putting it out, even though we don't have any kind of park testing. As previously, I sent you a link to the State Board of Education's new Park Place, as they call it, which is the resource bank for the park testing. What the State Board is doing is that, in requirement of the school code is that within 30 calendar days of receiving their school and district report cards, each school district should present its report card at a regular school board meeting, post them on the district's website, and make them available to parents. Therefore, each district may decide if it would like to present and publicly post the initial report card data released on Friday, or wait until the complete report card that includes the park testing scores is released later this year. Please do what you feel is most helpful to your local school boards and communities, says Dr. Smith, our state superintendent. So, the report card that comes out will just give us how many students we have, what their demographics are, their ethnic background, their socioeconomic status, our enrollment, how much our financial situation is, and 5 essential survey information, and that's all. There will be no testing on that. It seems, I guess I don't have a real recommendation. If we wait or put it on there, I don't think it's going to matter too much either way. We'll put it up. If we do it before, we'll put it up and say there is no testings, there are no test scores, and we'll put it on the website. We'll have to present it at the board at the next board meeting, blah, 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 and do it that way. Or we can wait until we get our park test results and then do it. Which kind of makes more sense because that's the only thing that the public is really has an interest in. So, it's at the board's discretion as to how you feel it's most helpful for your local community. I just need to know what you would like to do so that we can do that and go from there.
Do we want to put it up after the board approves it at the next meeting, or wait? The 10th or later? Mr. Giddens?
Has the teachers been given the results on the 5 essentials? That's part of the report card that's going to go up Monday. On the state website.
Okay.
Have they seen them?
On Friday, October 30th, State Board of Education will report the 2015 report card at www.illinoisreportcard.com, with data including student teacher demographics and all those things that I talked about. So it's going on Friday.
You said about the 5 essentials.
5 essentials will be part of the survey. You mentioned survey.
5 essential survey information, not the survey itself. just information, and it's only partial and summarized.
Did the teachers get a copy of the survey, the final results?
They have not been released by the State Board of Education yet.
Okay, we don't have to wait for the state board to release it though.
But you have the results now, we got them in August.
That's correct.
That's what
They're
it's
not
asking,
finalized.
did you,
No, I gave them to the Board of Education
right.
as directed. But they have not been finalized and sent to us in a final public release.
I disagree with that. That is the final copy. If you look at last year's, it's the exact same thing in 2014. We didn't do it.
Okay.
Correct, we did not do it. We were not required to do it last year.
And we're required to do it every other year, but I know this board, if I remember right, wanted to continue doing it once we started. Is that correct?
Okay, if the state's gonna release it on Friday, on the 30th,
The state report cards.
state report card, which has the 5 essentials?
It has summary information.
Summary.
Yes, summary information. It does not have the 5 essential survey results on it. It has summary information. And honestly, I don't know what that summary information is going to look like. But it does not have the park results that I sent
Right.
links to you guys. That's not what's gonna be on this. Okay, it's just gonna be summary information. So
Why would you
that-
not share it though with the teachers? I mean, if we all have access to it.
How's it
and
gonna
there's
improve if we won't
August.
share it? If we keep it secret, how do we
I mean,
expect it
that's
to
why I'm wondering
improve?
why are we not sharing it?
Because it hasn't been publicly released by
But
the
that's
Illinois
okay, we
State
don't have to wait
Board of
till it's publicly
Education.
released. We can still share it with our teachers.
And you have no control on where that information goes.
That's fine, as long as our teachers know.
There was something going on.
I didn't think it was that bad, I didn't think so.
No, not at all.
I'm following the guidelines the State Board of Education gives us. I can see if there's any,
So the state board says you can't
There's some
release it to
districts
the
that's already put it
teachers
up.
until,
On their
it
website.
doesn't say you
I
can,
know
it
there's a
doesn't
board
say you
member put it
can't.
up on
so what
blog too.
guidelines are you
Okay.
following then? Because you just said you're following the guidelines.
That it's not being released for public information.
Right.
So if I give it to the teachers, and the teachers send it out to all their parents, all their friends, and
that's on
everything
them.
else, it's not, then it is public information, and we have opened that up. So I don't know what the ramifications would be. So I'm following what the State Board of Education is telling us, that when it is made public, then you make it public on your website.
That
and
is when
everyone
they're
else.
going to make it
Right,
public.
it doesn't.
There's people out there that's
Right.
made it.
There's other schools that's made it public.
Okay. If that's what you want, I can do that. It's just a click of a switch.
I just want the
Okay.
teachers to have it.
The surrounding schools, and I couldn't find any surrounding schools that had posted it.
Not
I did not
surrounded
check
immediately area.
Chicago or Southern Illinois,
So
I
which
did the
schools
surrounding ones.
Which schools have done it?
I know, I went and looked again recently. Earlier in August, I
Which
seen
school?
like
What
2.
meeting?
I would have to go back and look, but I remember looking on the
Okay.
website and seeing that the school said that they had the results, and this was back in August, and they
Do
would be
I,
discussing it.
do I know?
And would be discussing it.
Right.
Right.
No, they
Probably
actually
as
put it
soon
on
as
their
it
internet,
became
on their
public.
I
website.
just see it on the internet, but I'm just saying the teachers,
Do I publish?
What do you want me to do? I don't know that it's of any great
the
consequence.
thing is if we don't change
Let's
it,
release it,
if
it's
we
no
change the survey
consequence.
again, it's not gonna help us, because we didn't do anything with the first results.
Okay, when you want this shared.
Since-
Share it in the morning to the staff. I mean,
And when do you
There's-
get
You
there's
sure it
that.
wasn't last
How-
year's results
it was this year's
from another
results.
school district?
Okay, but you're wanting
Let
to,
me go look.
you're wanting to put the information out there. How are you gonna get the feedback?
Well, that is the feedback. The survey is a feedback. That's the way I look at it. It is feedback. And the biggest thing that I read, and I'm not trying to read too much into it or go out on a limb on it. There's areas that I think just simply communications will improve our survey. Our surveys will improve. I think there may be some misperceptions and some misunderstandings. Set and wait until a month before the next survey and release it. We're gonna start the survey again in February. We're gonna wait till January to give it. What a wasted time. Sit on this information. Why are we sitting on this information if we want to see any improvement? I'm sending a message. You don't get it because I don't want no improvement. You're going to get it tomorrow morning because I want you to think about it. How do people perceive what's going on in our buildings? I can't change a whole lot here of what people perceive students sitting in the classrooms or how teachers, I can't read their minds, and these are their opinions. They're honest, unfiltered, they answer the questions. Share it. Sitting on it doesn't help anybody. Now, how are we going to get improvements? Do it, but we're not going to ever give you the results.
Especially when we advertised it on the RFP out there, please fill it out, please fill it out. And now we just don't.
I have no problem sharing the whole thing with the whole community,
Just out of curiosity, how come it's not public now anyway? Is there,
because the state hasn't released it.
State Board of
there's no
Education.
reason though, I mean,
And we haven't
It's just the
released
state.
it.
They're
They do all kinds of analysis and everything, so they have federal reports that they have to put together from that survey and submit and things like that. So it's just a matter of time before it gets to the boards.
But
to the
state,
local boards.
I'm
But
sorry.
nothing's gonna change before they release it, right?
I have no idea.
Wasn't it October originally that it was supposed to be released way back
That
when
is,
we got it?
that was correct. Our original deadline was in October. That's correct. It's gone and passed, and there's been no word of it.
And there's been years that the state report card has not come out by October 30th, like the state code says. It's all on the state.
This 5 essentials, the final results were supposed to have been released in May. I don't think they got them released till June. Those are the final results. If you look at what you see, that report is the same as the 2014. Some of the questions have changed, but it's the exact identical form. And I don't know, we may find out come November 2nd, it's going to be Monday. I think I always see where they're going to release it the last day in October, but it's in February before they pop it on the web.
But you're holding Mr. Aldridge accountable for the fact
I'm
that
holding the
state
board.
hasn't released that?
I'm holding the
No,
board.
he's saying, whenever you'll release it to the teachers. It has nothing to do, that's releasing it to the public, is what Randy says, November 2nd, the public will get it. He wants it to the teachers before the public gets it.
I'm gonna guess it won't be out by November 2nd.
Well, they have it now, they've had it since June.
Well,
That
the
one,
state,
that
I know.
report.
Okay, first, let's get this settled first. When do we want this to go on our website? Isn't that the question you asked?
Yes, ma'am.
To begin with, okay. Do we want that as soon as the state releases it, or do we wanna wait until we get the results? You want it sooner or later? Mr. Gibbons,
Sooner.
Mrs. Cagle,
Assuming we legally have to put it on the website, and the state says we can put it on the website.
okay then, with the park test. Okay, Mrs. Greiner,
Sooner.
Mrs.
Full
Reagan.
transparency.
just to clarify, we're talking about the report card, right?
The school report card that will list
Just
our
show the
demographics,
demographics and
yes,
everything.
yes.
I'm fine with waiting for the results and have it all at the same time.
Ms. Reagan?
People can access it on the website, not our
Online.
website, if they go to the,
Mhm.
so just put on ours too. 'Cause they can,
Because if you go to that, he's saying if you go to illinoistesting.com, it could be,
yeah, cause if
You're
they,
gonna find it on IIRC.
yes,
okay, so,
And we'll look up the hiding.
exactly.
just
Okay,
put on
sooner
ours.
is the answer to that one. Okay? All right, now Mr. Giddens' concern is we want this to go to our teachers. How would you want this to be delivered? Print it out? Hand it out?
This is, I would say, what have we done in the past? This is the first time our teachers are getting it.
And
If-
when are you gonna give our teachers time to
Absorb it.
absorb it, discuss it? It took a while, yes. I mean, plan, do you have a plan?
Okay, I don't have a plan, but if we had released it, I was thinking, ideally it would have been this Friday. They can go home, if they had an email, at their leisure, at their pleasure, open it up and look at it. And I know the teachers will probably want to talk about some of the stuff that are in there. Some of them may. And then if a group of teachers want to meet with the principals and maybe discuss some of the things that are in the 5 essentials.
Is that a question, Mr. Gooden?
It's not a question, it's just if the teachers do, a group of teachers say, hey, we're concerned about something in there, or this bothers us, then we've opened up communications, and maybe we can make some improvements in that. But waiting a month until the next, I just felt we should have had it already.
I thought that was the plan, to tell you the truth. I thought he was
In
gonna talk
August.
about
Okay.
with the principals, and then the principals, and then we come up with a plan. That's what we were told. But things changed
I don't have,
beyond his control.
I don't know,
To print that many pages out and hand it out seems like a waste of paper.
right, so I don't know if I'll be able to convert it to, go to the link, convert them to a PDF, and then email it or put it on our website and put it under the teacher space right there, under staff. And put it there. It's just gonna take a matter of playing around with it.
Will that work for everybody?
If you go to the download link there, you can see the final, you search the school, not the district, LaSalle School and Parkview. Go to the download section. The top one is the full report. That comes already as a PDF file,
So we'll let him do that. That's his job.
right?
Put that out there.
We're gonna get it out when?
I don't know. Consensus, do you want the teachers to have it shortly? I'm not gonna put a date on it, I mean. Yes?
I'm fine with it.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Can you give us an approximate date? Today is Tuesday, maybe by Friday.
I'm gone all day tomorrow. I have a seminar that I'm going to all day tomorrow. So Thursday, we have a number of meetings. Friday. So,
We'll try for Friday, if not, it may have to be Monday.
If you would like, I could share in the 2 files. When I go home tonight, I'll be on his drive.
They already on your drive?
No,
well,
I can
Mr.
send
Gibbs,
it.
you could just email it to all the teachers if you did that.
Just don't jump chain of command here.
No, I mean, that's no, that doesn't go anywhere.
Okay.
So I could share it to him on the Google Drive, the 2 files.
I'm sure we can find it, and we'll get it posted,
Thank
and it
you.
will be up there. And every teacher will be notified that it is there. They can go to it if they desire. You cannot mandate that teachers go there and read it, okay? So it'll be posted, we will get it up there prior, or by the close of business on Monday. If I have to be here over the weekend to do it, I will.
Thank you. All right, presentations and suggestions by board members. Do we have any? All right. Reports from the administration. Mr. Aldridge, do you want to?
Yes, I believe. Who was first? Oh, Mr. McCormick. Come on down, give us a report on all the good things happening at LaSalle School, please.
Yes, it is Christmas time, but it matches my socks, so it's all good. What? I got my taco socks on Taco Tuesday. Alright, so let's see, earlier this month, we had our Grandparents' Week, which is an annual event. Each day, we feature a different grade, kindergarten on Monday, first grade on Tuesday. Lunchtime, grandparents come in, have lunch. Younger kids do a little assembly, older kids not so much. But it's a nice time, it's nice to meet some of the, a lot of grandparents, some great-grandparents, and I even got to meet a great-great-grandparent last year. So pretty cool, and some of them I get to talking to, some of them knew my dad from way back, some of them I learned things from. They told me about Creve Coeur, which I didn't know about, now all of a sudden is becoming more prevalent since they gave it away or something. But also a school called Gerber, see, which closed 30-some years ago, but one of the grandparents there had attended Gerber, so I got to learn about it. Usually that falls during Fire Prevention Week, and it did again this year. Usually we have an assembly with the fire department, but we couldn't match up schedules. So we're actually having our fire prevention assembly next week, which the fire department comes in and they do 2 different assemblies, one for the younger, one for the older. The kids seem to enjoy it. They get to see the guys dressed up in all their gear, and they also get some coloring books and things like that, which the kids like a lot. About a week and a half ago, our both early childhood classes took a field trip to the Forest Park Nature Center. Good time had by all. As far as I know, and there were some very sleepy 3- and 4-year-olds at the end of the day, because they're not used to a longer than about 2.5-hour day. A week and a half ago was the Fall Festival / Ride for Education. Turnout was probably not what we hoped for. It was a little on the low side. I know they at least made a little bit of money. And the kids that were there had a great time. The bounce houses were fun, the games were fun. Just need to do something to increase the attendance, obviously. Last Monday, we dedicated a bench in the Butterfly Garden just outside here to Aiden Brooks Spencer. The original Star had a nice article about that and some pictures. We're thankful for their coverage, and the parents, it was the first chance I had to meet them, were very thankful for the bench and the opportunity. Looking forward, this Friday we've got the Halloween parade. And yesterday I walked the route with Mrs. Ozenkarski, talked to the people in the different buildings. We made sure we knew what was going on. We'll go through the library, out the back door, and come back around down the street. Found out today, didn't think it was going to happen, but found out today the fire department will be represented out front there, then the police department, then we'll go into the village hall, and then back into the back door of the water department, back down the same route coming home. Once we get back, we'll actually go through the gym like we did last year. So parents who don't want to go out on the route can actually go to the gym. We've got several of our local businesses that will be represented in the gym. In fact, I think the library is going to double represent. We get to go there and they're going to come to our place. So if we have any students that don't have permission to go off campus, they'll still do the parade on campus as well. Thank you to our volunteers. I know I've got several volunteers here who will be helping out, and we appreciate that. And I think that's all I got.
What time is it again?
We're actually going to start about 1:15. The kindergarten classes will start going through the first grade, pick them up, then they'll go through the second grade, pick them up. So I told Greg over at the library it'd be about 1:30 before they saw anybody.
Okay, all right. So we need to be there at least by 1:15. By 1. Yeah, be there by 1.
Be there, want to be awesome. Yep.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome, thank you.
Dr. Tunnell, welcome to your first official board meeting where you have a part to play other than being hired.
Oh, there we go.
So, how's Parkview doing this
Got a
year?
lot of great things going on. Last week we had our Warrior Way celebration, which is part of our positive behavior intervention system. The students were well behaved. They had activities outside, activities inside, and they just had a ton of fun. So they did a really nice job with that. Our Halloween dance was last Friday. I had some board members there as well. Again, I was really impressed. I've been attending school dances for over 20 years and over 10 years as an administrator, and I just could not believe how positive the kids were, how much they enjoyed it. And then the diversity of activities. We had popcorn, and we had hula hoop contests, and we had cotton candy, and so it was just really a good time. And the costumes were amazing. So, and thank you for helping us judge that contest. This positive thing that happened actually last Saturday, I happened to be out and about in town in Pekin and was talking to a colleague I've known for over 30 years and told him where I was working, what I was doing, and he said, well, do I have an amazing example of sportsmanship from some Parkview students, and I'm going to share the story with you. And his daughter plays for Pekin Edison and was at a basketball game, and the Parkview girls, was 7th and 8th grade, had gotten beaten pretty handily by Edison, but he said those girls were so positive, came through the receiving line, good sportsmen, and he said, and then they went throughout the gym and cleaned up all the water balls and all the trash. I said, well, I knew they did that at home, but I didn't realize they did that at race. I hadn't been to the away game yet. And he said, I was so impressed with your young athletes and with your coach. He said, I wanted you to pass that on. So I thought today would be an opportunity to share that with you, and I'll be sharing that over the PA system with the children as well, that they were celebrated in a nearby community. Also, just some updates. We will be having our fire drill on the 30th at 10 o'clock in the morning. The fire department will be present, and all of our drills are currently on schedule for Parkview. So everything is all to date, and we're just fine on that. We'll be having a faculty meeting on the 28th. I've had one 20-minute real brief after school. Here I am, here's my expectations. But we will be discussing teacher evaluation in terms of what expectations, past practice, student discipline, how the system's working, a little bit with getting ready to welcome Ms. Miller to our staff and those types of things. So it'll be about a 45-minute meeting with an agenda they'll be receiving tomorrow afternoon. So, and they were given a 9-page reading assignment. The teachers were a school improvement plan middle section that are the school improvement goals, because I wanted an update from their perspective with the school improvement plan. So that was their reading assignment for last week. Picture retake day is on the 29th. Fannie Mae's fundraiser order forms are due this week, so this is your last week to get your mint melt away. There you go.
And that is a student council fundraiser,
Yes,
correct?
it is, and they've done a very nice job with that. Three more things. One, tutoring program, unless you're going to take that, Coach, you're going to talk about tutoring program updates and what's going on after school tutoring at Parkview, or do you want me to
Nope, go right ahead.
Okay. We have an instructor selected, location has been selected, snacks have been ordered, students have been recommended for the program, invitations have been sent to parents, and we're getting that information back. We'll be ready to roll next week. You had asked me to publicize Mr. Kleesner's situation with the computers.
It was just surprise, not really publish it.
Oh,
Just surprise.
okay. Turns out that that was not money that was donated to the school district. That was money that was donated to him, that he chose then to use that for the purchase of the computers. And then just a follow-up to a request, and I made a note at last month's board meeting when I was unofficial, before I was official. You had asked about the possibility of introducing or bringing teachers to the board so you can put names and faces. We have, including the new math interventionist, 6 new teachers at Parkview and 2 at LaSalle. There's only one board meeting in November and in December. I'm just tossing that out to let you know that I thought about that, and it's not something that you're serious about. Speak with Mr. Aldridge, let us know, and we can arrange for that to happen. I just wanted to follow up with that. So, other than that, things are going really well. We're having a good time.
Comment on a couple of things you mentioned.
Sure.
Seems our principal does the Cuban shuffle very well, by the way. She was out on the dance floor, it's with the children, they were having a good time. I guesstimated about, what, 125 kids maybe?
I would say at least, I know concessions alone made $271.
So it was really a good turnout, considering there was no school that day and it was raining.
The weather was not pleasant.
And there was no haunted house. I heard from some of the 8th graders, if we would have had the haunted house, more would have came. So maybe next year. You know.
Well, and I think, and bless his heart, Mr. Bacher had taken that on, and then he tried to the very last minute to get pieces to fall together, but given all the stress he's under lately, that just wasn't possible. So.
And that's another thing, when you talked about the girls, he shared with me the girls' basketball team. He saw a couple of the other schools do this when they came to play at Parkview. So he met with the girls and their sponsor, and he asked them to start doing this. Every game they play, they go out and they pick up. I hope that continues with our boys' game, all of our sports, you know?
But it was well noted. I'm shocked. It was 10 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. So.
That's nice.
Wasn't that nice?
Yes.
So we're going to celebrate that with them. So, other than that, we're doing, and Chromebooks have been rolled out at Parkview, and they are in use and functioning just fine.
Yeah.
Awesome. Anything else?
Sure. We have a couple FOIA requests this month. Just a couple of the community member. Another one from the bettergovernment.org. Bettergovernment.org was looking for collective bargaining agreements, administrator contracts, budgets, legal settlements, payroll. And I think this is this is a watchdog group, and they will, we are not the only school district to receive this, so this was sent out to all the other school districts in the surrounding 3 counties. So it's just information, and it is being shared. So they have that. We responded to those. I have received a call after school hours today from the boiler repair company. They are now finished at Homewood. Everything has been repaired, replaced, returned, and the boiler is in full functioning order. They even threw in a release valve that they found that was faulty. They happen to have an extra one of that model and type, so they put it in for us right there at no charge or expense to us. So that was kind of nice, and so we were able to get that done. And it was pretty gruesome when they pulled all those pipes out of there. Quite a number of just things. It was pretty bad. So one thing that they did say was that the front plate, there's a front plate on the boiler where the tubing goes in, and that front plate is a certain thickness of steel. Well, right now we are within normal limits on that steel plate, but he said the next time we have to replace the tubes, you will most likely need to replace that front plate as well. So just letting us know. What's that? No, just he just figured when we needed to replace those tubes.
This is the first time we replaced those tubes, isn't it? Ever?
Not in our lifetime,
Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking.
That's what I was thinking. Hopefully not in our lifetime.
Okay. I'm just telling you what the guy told me.
Hopefully, they were just, yeah, hopefully we won't have to do it for another 30 years.
Well, yes.
Shower room or
And I sent out a number of communications to the Board of Education this past couple of weeks regarding the state of the facilities at Homewood. We have contacted our insurance carrier, and adjuster has been out. The adjuster, the insurance adjuster, had an engineering firm sent out to look at the situation. I received an email from the insurance adjuster this afternoon saying that the engineer has given him a preliminary report. He's going to write it up, and it's all finalized. We'll get a copy of that. He'll incorporate it into his adjustment report from the engineer, and he suggested that we go out and get more estimates from different restoration companies, so that we have a number of estimates that we can submit to the insurance company. He indicated to me that the determination of coverage is going to be an issue. In 2011, this same adjuster had come out to Homewood for an issue much the same, but not on such a grand scale. And so that was something that he was going to have to determine how that will factor into our coverage and the things that were on that other report. Okay? I guess I can,
And possibly deny it for this.
he did not say that anything like that. He just said that he was going to review his report to determine if it played a factor in this situation now. He didn't say whether it did or didn't or would or wouldn't. I don't think he was at that point where he wanted to make that kind of a statement to me. I'm sure that this is going to have to be an in writing kind of thing, because the first estimate that I have for remediation of the situation from Service Master, no, Serve Pro, Service Master and Mental Construction are the two other companies that I'm going to contact for this issue and get estimates from them. But ServPro's preliminary estimate is well over $40,000. So, don't know, but it will be turned, it's obviously, we've turned this over to an insurance carrier, and they'll have to make some kind of determination and see what our coverage will be. And I just I don't even want to speculate yet.
You don't have a choice, it has to be fixed. Right.
It does, it has to be fixed. It is an environmental hazardous situation. So we have issues, but you have issues not only the the remediation and the fixing of that mold situation, but also whatever the cause is.
Right.
And they're not talking, Service Master and ServPro, they're not talking about the cause. They're just talking about the cleanup. So you got $40,000 plus for cleanup. Then what is causing the problem, and what's it going to take to fix the problem? That will be the next step. That's where I thought minimal construction would be a good choice, because not only do they do the cleanup itself, but they also do the reconstruction and the repair of the actual situation. So I thought that getting them involved would be pretty beneficial for us. I don't know about the pricing wise or anything like that, and if any board members have any other suggested companies or contractors or anything like that, please feel free. I will, I'll send 100 companies over there just so the insurance company can see that, that this is what the cost is going to be, and hopefully they will make a determination that they're going to cover the loss. We'll see. So, unfortunate. I would offer to give any board members tours, but every time I go over there, I come back in a very, very unpleasant state. You can ask Stephanie after the meeting how I come back. So
We'll just take your word.
okay, and pictures. Send pictures. So curriculum updates. We have started our curriculum meetings with staff, and information is being shared. So we are moving forward with that. Our consultants have been here, working with Mr. Jokish and the teachers on making those, putting the information, the lessons that are used, the skills that are to be taught, putting them into a format that we can put in one place so that everyone does have access. And we just went through a whole scenario about transparency. Well, that's what I want for our curriculum. one of the sections that we're putting into the format for the curriculum is a section about parent resources for that lesson that's there, so that the teachers are giving the parents some place to go, some kind of information, whether it be a PDF file or a link to a website, whatever it might be, so that they can help their students at home on those lessons, the things that they just were talking about in their classroom. That was really reinforced to me at our district leadership team meeting this previous week, and Ms. Bailey can speak to it as well, where I went around and asked, what is our thinking of the curriculum and online and web-based materials and lessons opposed to textbooks. And the discussion was very interesting, that none of the participants that spoke up around the table, and almost all of them didn't feel that it was a necessity to have a textbook for students, as long as what the teachers were doing in the classroom taught them the skills that they needed, and that those skills were aligned to our curriculum across the district, the state standards, and the state testing and assessments. The parent member of our district leadership team was the one who brought that out and said that, the only reason I would want a textbook as a parent is so that I could look at what the teacher was teaching when my child comes home, so that I can help them with their homework. And we talked about resources and putting that section, a parent resource section, on our curriculum lesson format. And I thought that was a great idea, and just reinforced the fact that we want to make it parent-friendly, we want to make it student-friendly. So once we have everything in place, it will be a section on our website where parents can go, and they'll be able to find what was taught that day, what the lesson was actually, what the objectives were, what standards were they hitting, and what skills were being presented, and then resources to help the parent if they need that at home to help their students. So we're trying to make these things kind of link together very well. We are going to continue with math, obviously, throughout the rest of the year, but we will then start tackling our English language arts. The new generation science standards are coming out, so science will be number 3, and then they'll work on social studies as well. So we've got our work cut out for us, but I think we have a very good plan in place, and a good format for the teachers to use. And once we're comfortable with the process, we're not going to need our consultants as much, so they can kind of start dialing that back, and we'll just have to keep up the release time for teachers to be able to have time to do this. Substitutes are always an issue, getting enough substitutes, because you've got four teachers that are out in the morning, another 4 that are out in the afternoon, and that's 4 substitutes right there. That's even before somebody is sick, somebody calls in, somebody has an appointment, somebody has to leave. So substitutes are always an issue. However, we are building our pool as best we can, so we're taking care of that as well. So I think the curriculum is moving along, and I've been happy with the progress and the things that I've been hearing from the teachers themselves. So they're excited about this process. They're happy to have something that is standardized and so that it looks the same for everybody. That'll make it easy for the first grade teacher to look at, what is it my kids need to know to go to 2nd grade, and what is it that they should have learned in kindergarten and have learned, so we can move that forward. One of the discussions that came out of, not in this group, but in a different venue in the superintendent's conference was the discussion of standards-based report cards, moving away from just science B+, spelling A, that kind of old-fashioned report card that we know and are used to. The discussion is, what is it that our students need to know? Parents need to receive that up front. They need to know, these are the things that we're going to cover, in this school year. And then we'll have that, will become the student's report card. So you'll have those skills, and we'll be able to say, he's met this skill, he's emerging in this skill. This skill is moving forward. He's not progressing enough. It gives a parent more of an idea of what their child is doing and can do, rather than just, oh, we got an A in spelling. That's a discussion that's in the bigger context of education right now. I'm not saying that's going to be our next step, but obviously that'll be a discussion to bring to the board once we have the curriculum in place. So just things to think about as we continue on our learning of how to help our students learn. Chromebook update. Chromebooks are active, highly active in both schools right now. We have just received today from Ms. Callahan the inventory location list of all of the Chromebooks, so we know where they are and who has them and what carts they're assigned to and that nature. So they are moving, and I have talked to Mr. McCormick especially to give me an update by Thursday at our administrative meeting about the wide area coverage in his building of our Wi-Fi, our wireless network, to make sure that we have proper coverage for all of those Chromebooks and that things are moving according to plan, and we've got enough coming in and enough going out. So he'll be doing that Thursday, but things are progressing right along. That also leads into our cloud server. We will be shutting down our local server Thursday evening, and we will be doing the migration of all of our server information here to the cloud-based STL in Bloomington. So we've been coordinating with Mr. Wendelin on all of those things with staff in the building so that they know what to expect when this happens, and some computers will need to be rebooted and updated very quickly for some things, and then in the classroom the techs will come around and get them rebooted during the day on Friday. So some prep work on Thursday afternoon. They'll come in and start touching all the computers to make them connect to our server online, and by Monday morning we should be completely seamless and able to move forward. And other than on Friday, other than saving documents, you won't be able to access, the staff won't be able to access the documents that they have now on our server, physically saved on the server. They won't be able to access them until the migration is complete on Monday. So there's not much, if anybody needs to make any changes, and notice has already gone out to the staff about it. If they need to make changes to any documents, they just need to save those to a flash drive, and they can make the changeover and put them on the cloud on Monday. So the internet's going to be fine, email's going to be fine, smart birds are going to be fine. It's just the accessing the documents. So it should be painless for most people. So we're hoping that that goes fairly well. After-school tutoring updates. Dr. Tennell spoke to that a little bit, and moving forward, Mr. McCormick, anything? I know I'm kind of poking at you out of turn here, but anything as far as LaSalle's concerned? We are up and moving. How's the excuse me? How has the attendance been? That's been one of the issues that I've been concerned about. Have we had any issues with attendance at this time?
No, so far so good. I mean, obviously if a kid was missed school that day, I'm not gonna really.
Okay, we need a motion to resume regular session.
I make a motion to resume regular session at 9:30.
Second. Giddens?
Aye.
Cagle? Aye. Catherine Reagan?
Aye.
Val Reagan?
Aye.
Tyler?
Aye.
Reiner? Aye. Bailey?
Aye, motion carried. In executive session, personnel was discussed. Need a motion regarding substitute kitchen staff.
Make a motion to place Betty Townsend on the substitute cook list.
Second. Giddens?
Aye.
Cagle? Aye. Catherine Reagan?
Aye.
Val Reagan?
Aye.
Tyler?
Aye.
Reiner? Aye. Bailey?
Aye, motion carried. Need a motion regarding playground substitute.
Make a motion to place Betty Townsend and Janice Ford on the substitute playground supervisors list.
I second. Giddens?
Aye.
Cagle? Aye. Catherine Reagan?
Aye.
Val Reagan?
Aye.
Tyler?
Aye.
Reiner? Aye. Bailey?
Aye. Make the motion to adjourn the meeting at 9:32.
Second. Oh, sorry.
Giddens?
Aye.
Cagle? Aye. Catherine Reagan?
Aye.
Val Reagan?
Aye.
Tyler?
Aye.
Reiner? Aye. Bailey?
Motion carried. Meeting adjourned.